Hello there, YouTube and TikTok. And a special hello to Booktok, because I seem to be engaging with Booktok a lot more recently. So, I wanted to talk about Abby's book reviews, which is a booktoker on TikTok, who I've had a bit of a back and forth between. I'll talk about some other stuff in a bit, because this is my December 6th vlog. So, I've been having a back and forth, and it's been interesting. Now, she seems to be a perfectly reasonable, perfectly nice person. And she wants to encourage people to read, she wants to encourage community, and she talks about the layers of Booktok. And TikTok's very interesting in this regard. She is right, TikTok does have layers, and it's confusing. If you've never used TikTok before, if you're coming from YouTube, where you find specific channels, and you have subscription lists, anything like that, TikTok is very, very different. You have followers, but you don't choose what you watch. Instead, it preloads stuff, and you just have to flick through it. So views are not really a measurement of how many people actually want to watch your video. Like, you can't open the app without it playing some random piece of shite at you. Right? Often from the For You page, which is just the algorithm playing a random video at your face that you didn't choose. TikTok is infuriating in that regard. But whilst TikTok does do that, there is a sense of community here. But I had noticed that there are a few problems with the way this community is set out, and you can get lost in the wrong section. And she was right that you're in the wrong layer of TikTok if that's the case. But you can't find what you're looking for easily, and that's a problem. So a good example of what we mean here is, she said, if you're commenting and engaging and watching the same videos, like, say, for example, if I was watching a 19-year-old Sarah J. Maas fan talking about, her romance fairy books, I'm not going to find what I'm looking for because I don't care about that stuff. I'm not interested in YA romance, and I don't need to hear about, teen girls gushing about their book boyfriend. But if I keep engaging with those channels, I'm going to see more of those channels. So she had a good point there. The other point that she made, though, was the point that we ended up having the back and forth over. And that was that she said we should read diversely, which isn't a bad statement in and of itself if she meant it properly, but she doesn't. She means it like a leftist would mean it. What she means by read diversely is she means read books written by people with dark skin and female genitals. That's what she means. Or people with male genitals and a confused disposition that makes them think that they're women. That's what she means. Oh, and also let's include anyone with a disability or anyone who's gay. Basically, anyone who isn't a straight white man. Now, you can see my problem with this already, can't you? Because whilst I know she's not meaning it with malice, she's completely entrenched in this leftist mindset where diversity is a good thing and shows that you're tolerant and worldly wise. That's the way it's projected. It doesn't mean that. What it means is that you're a racist and a sexist who hates straight white men. That's what it means, because that's how it comes across. You may not think that that's how you're behaving, but that's how you're behaving, because you are dismissive of white men, particularly straight white men. And it shows in the way that you talk. Like, when she said to read diversely, she said if you go to your shelf and the majority of your books are by white men, you should seek out other authors. But she doesn't say it like that. She says if you go to your shelves and the majority of your books are by white men, see the difference. There's a little pause before the word white, and there's just a little injection of venom in the words white men. White men, to rhyme with scum. It's unintentional. I know it's unintentional. She doesn't actually hate white men. But she's still pushing that narrative. She's still pushing the idea that reading diversely, and by reading diversely she means reading non-white male authors, is a good thing. It's not a good thing. I don't care about the skin colour of my authors. I don't care about their gender. I don't care about whether or not they're disabled or whether or not they screw people of the same sex, anything like that. It does not bother me. I don't care. I care about the book, which makes me actually pushing for equality. I'm the one treating everyone exactly the same, whereas the people pushing for diversity are the people who are actively treating someone differently because of their skin colour and their gender. If you avoid reading white male authors so that you can read more female authors and more non-white authors, you are being a racist and a sexist. You are being a bigot because you are choosing to not read the books by the white men solely because they're white men. That is bigotry. So I needed to explain this because I needed to get it across that I hate diversity because it is a dog whistle. It is leftist dog whistles that is effectively pro-bigotry. It's a pro-bigotry movement. And as a white man, I do not appreciate people pushing active dismissal of my gender and my race because they think it makes them virtuous. If you're going to virtue signal by treating me like I'm lesser because of my race and my gender, then you are a bigot, and I don't like you for that. I think that's a reasonable statement. If I suggested that you should read less black women, I would get raked across the coals. And you know I would. So don't do it with white men. If you want to push proper diversity in reading, that's fine. But actually push that. What you want to say, if you want to push diversity in reading, is that we should read books from other cultures, from other countries and other places where they have different experiences and different ways of viewing the world. That will broaden our horizons and allow us to engage with our favourite genres from a different perspective, and it will enrich our experiences with our reading. That is reading diversely. Not reading because someone's got dark skin. Right? A black guy who lived down the road from me had the same experiences as me growing up because he lived in the same culture and the same upbringing in the same economic situation. His life is no different than mine. But a white person who grew up in South Africa during the apartheid, a white person who grew up in communist China, they will have had very different experiences, and their skin colour's the same as mine. This is the thing that you need to consider, is diversity should be diversity of experience, diversity of culture, diversity of ideas. If you want diversity in your reading, read from different political persuasions, read from different cultural experiences, read from different economic backgrounds, where people have widely different lifestyles. That will give you more diversity in your reading. But if you read diversely by reading people with different skin colours and different genders, and I'll point out most of those genders are made up, what you're doing is reading endless leftist Californian shite. That's not reading diversely, that's pandering. Anyway, that's what I thought I'd mention today. So this has been my vlog. I didn't really do much else with the day. I engaged with TikTok. I did a little bit of writing. I watched some Critical Role. I spent a bit of time with the cat. I did start reading. I was reading Empire of the Vampire. I've started Empire of the Vampire. I've only got about 20 pages in, so no thoughts on it yet. But I will talk about that in future videos. But this, I felt, was an interesting topic I needed to talk about because I need to make it very clear. I'm not going to pull punches here on TikTok. I'm going to call out people who use leftist dog whistles and push bigotry in the name of diversity because I'm not going to stand for it. I know that it may not be meant with malice, but you should be more mindful with what you say, especially if you intend to be fair and reasonable. See you next time. Bye.